Good morning. This is Jim Fox with Trino Software. It's a little before 10 o'clock, and we will be starting here momentarily. Let some other people have the opportunity to join. I'm going to be putting on mute, and we'll be back shortly.
This is Bob Stromberg with Advanced Business Methods. We'll be starting the slideshow momentarily. We're going to let some other people jump on here. We'll give them about 2 minutes. Jim Fox with Trino Software will be helping me with the slideshow. So it's going to be directed through him so he can do the full demo. Jim, can you go full screen on the slideshow? And can you also tell me when you see most everybody logged in and online, please?
I can do that.
How's it looking, Jim? Do we have a full house yet?
I think we have enough to get started, Bob.
Okay, thank you. Well, good morning, everybody. I want to take a moment and thank you all for jumping on today. We have quite a few people from the North Dakota Association of Counties. Today, what we're going to be discussing with you all and giving you a brief overview on is the North Dakota document management policies and such, and how ABM can help you with document management and things like that. And we've actually partnered with Trino, so together we'll be giving you a presentation on that. In this next slide, I kind of just want to give you a quick overview. My name's Bob Stromberg. I've been with Advanced Business Methods for 34 years. I'm a sales specialist with them. I'll be providing the first part of this discussion. I do want to introduce Dwayne Boder, our West Region Sales Manager, and Brian Westland, our East Region Sales Manager. They're on the call as well, along with the reps who will be a part of the territories where you all are located. So if you do need to reach us for anything, we're available for you. So those are our ABM team. And then, of course, I have Jim Fox, who is the account manager and works with Advanced Business Methods directly. I say, for lack of better terms, he's one of our employees. Jim and I have been working together, ABM and Trino, for 10 years. We use Trino software in-house for our document management software. So Jim's very aware, and Jim works this northern tier. Today's agenda is really why, how, and what. In the beginning here, we'll be talking about the North Dakota County retention schedules. We'll review a little bit of ABM and our services here, how we can help you, and then how to get started with Jim doing a quick Trino overview. And then at the end of the discussion, we are more than welcome to take questions and provide answers and such. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Very simply put, and I don't want to bore you to death. I'm sure you're all working with records already, but very quickly, why should we scan? Obviously, we're going to free up space. Real estate's such a premium nowadays. We can get rid of those file cabinets and such and clean things up. Access to important records in seconds. Obviously, if there's misfiling, all these things can come into play, taking time out of your day. We can have you search and find those things in literal seconds. Protecting against loss of data, fire, acts of God, those types of things. With proper backups, we're in great shape, and we can be back up in seconds in quick order. Responding to audits and information requests, whether that's from internally through the state or whether that's constituents coming in and needing something, you'll be able to get that information back to those people in a quick and efficient manner. And then disaster preparedness, which kind of came into the protecting the loss, just being able to have that scanned in case of any type of disaster, and then having a quick recovery plan to get things going. So those are kind of some of the key things as to why we do that. This slide I always kind of show people to let them know. Basically, when you think about it, a standard 1.2 cubic foot banker box has 2,200 sheets of paper. So we're looking at, easily 4 reams. So when you think about that, it starts to build up. A 26-inch deep file drawer that is full contains usually between 3,500 and 4,000 pages. Your typical 36-inch lateral drawers will contain 5,500 pages. And then I tell people, now look around the office, and this is the reason why everybody's asking for document management solutions is just to free that up. What does this mean to you? Permanent and other records can be retained in a digital format. We work in the PDF-A format primarily for government due to the fact that PDF-A, just in layman's terms, is an archival version of PDF format, so that as different versions come available for PDF, the old documents can easily be read with the PDF-A format. Migrating to a digital format now becomes even more attractive if you can dispose of hard copy originals. The state of North Dakota does allow, and we'll be in a couple slides coming up discussing those types of things and retention schedules. So everything would be at basically a mouse click away. There may be specific procedures to follow concerning the quality control and storage. This just means that we'll be following those retention schedules. We'll be giving you links as to where you can find those things so that you're keeping the documents stored for the proper amount of time, and then you can dispose of them in an approved way that the state and or counties ask for. The North Dakota County retention schedule, really there are 2 different sources to gather the information for this. The first one is through the North Dakota Association of Counties website, and we will be giving you a copy of this presentation, and these are hyperlinks out to those sites, and in the coming slides I'm going to be showing you a couple of these screenshots. But North Dakota Association of Counties would be one, and then through the state of North Dakota, their ITD, which is Information Technology Department, also has some links as far as gaining information as to what the state is looking for hanging on to documents depending upon its location and what it's for and such. And then it also includes the proper disposition of the information at the end of the retention period. How are we going to get rid of that, and what criteria and so forth. So if we look at the next slide, this is the North Dakota Association of Counties. Just a quick screenshot. What you'll be able to do is go there, and when you click on a link for a given type of document, you'll see in the screenshot that basically it'll give you a quick description. It will let you know what the retention period is, what the disposition should be, and such, and when to dispose. So basically what we're doing here is just showing you, hey, if you're working in a digital environment, this is what is certified to be the proper retention schedules. Also, as I mentioned, there's the Information Technology Department's screenshot, and that's coming up here. This is a screenshot showing how we actually can get onto that site. It's a series of drop-down menus. It's very intuitive, and in those screenshots, it will show you, you'll select your department and what division, and it will automatically show you what the retention schedule is based on those. So if, as you can see, Jim's showing, you know, the different tax equalization, all those different things. Once I've selected county government and social services, I can then get a drop down, and in my table I can see that Form 119, county government, social services, it'll tell you that the retention period is roughly 6 years, and then at the end the disposition would be the landfill and delete the backups. So basically, here's your tools to, should you decide that you want to go completely digital, this is exactly how to find out and keep compliant with time schedules and retention schedules. And we'll show you in a few minutes. Jim will take over and he'll be showing you how Trino can assist in those retention schedules as well. Best practices as we prepare for digital migration. Maybe you've already started and you have some things already stored, but I'll go through this quickly for you. Basically, what ABM in Trino will do for you is, if you haven't set up a digital or a document management, our goal would be first to identify the scope. What do you want to scan? How do you want to scan it? You know, how are we going to get things started? Next, we will get Trino involved directly. We'll do an assessment and get you an idea as far as cost estimates, what the scope of project would entail, both from a cost estimate and a timeline. At that point, if it looks like it's something that's going to be done, a key internal contact or project manager would be assigned from ABM to be on site helping you, as well as Trino working with you online and dialed in. We'll coordinate with an outsourcing provider, which is basically, we do have some third-party customers, or I'm sorry, vendors that will help provide back scanning, old documents, archival. We can do those things, or if you want to do them in-house, you certainly can, but we'll go through and show you how we can start like point forward, or if we want to bring on an archival or a backlog of documents, we can do those things as well. And all this is the scope, the document management system, which would be the search, retrieval. We'll show you how we set all that up. We'll set up audit trails, retention schedules, all those different things. We'll determine the indexing values. How do you want to look them up? Again, we'll be looking at how you're filing currently and make it so that when you're doing it digitally, it's just as easy and you're looking in the exact same way that you were looking for paper documents and such. And then we'll talk a little bit about the disposition, project timelines, and then we'll start getting actually involved with the boxing of files and start getting the logistics going of either bringing that into the digital world, or you could go point forward, whatever works best for you. ABM's been in business since 1971. We have a tremendous amount of county government and state customers, and we appreciate the business every single day. Some people did not know that we provide some of these management solutions, and that's what today's all about. So basically, what we can be able to provide for you is we can scan really anything, and that can be through the MFPs that you may have from us, or maybe you have document scanners from us. Either way, we can assist in getting that going, or if you don't have that product from us, we can certainly help with that. But we will help with any type of scanning. So we can scan all paper, any sizes, conditions, whether they're fragile, like old historical documents, all the way up to current day-to-day. Maybe some areas may have historical data or land plots, those type of things that were done on large format prints, blueprints, the old blueprints. We can get those scanned in and assist with that for line drawings. Meeting minutes and agendas, county meetings, all those things that come into play that need to be stored for review if needed. Financial records, HR files, really you name it. Our goal is if it's in front of you on a sheet of paper, we're going to get it into the system digitally for you, and we'll pick a way to do that that works for each and every department based on their needs. So the little picture just shows basically some code enforcement and such. We'll let you, you can bounce back, but just shows you some of the things that we can do from code enforcement, property files, and financial records so that you have everything that you need at your fingertips. One last thing we want to let you know, ABM is an approved vendor for the state of North Dakota. I do have our vendor number up there. You'll be getting a copy of this. So ABM has been working with the state directly for years and years and years. And we are in good standing, and we're proud to be a part of the North Dakota network as a North Dakota-based company. And just a quick side note, approximately 6 years ago, we became an ESOP, an employee-owned company. So now, not only are we North Dakota, but every one of our employees are an owner in the company. So we take an extra special stake and really appreciate the business that the customers give us, because each one of us are owners and employees. So thank you again. So that being said, how to get started, you would just basically be able to contact us. I'll have our contact information at the bottom. We will have our territory rep get a hold of you, or you can give us. They'll meet with you and kind of get a quick review of your needs and files. Then we'll start to discuss options. We'll make the recommendations on conversion, indexing, and just the full utilization of the entire software and overview of how it's going to take place. We'll probably ask for a sample file to scan. If you do need to redact anything, feel free to do so. Basically, what we're looking for is just an example of what you do day in and day out, so that we can demonstrate with Trino with your documents. We want to make sure that you see exactly what you're doing, rather than having a canned demo. So, and then we'll provide you with the proposal outlining the volume and cost estimates, timelines and logistics, just like we mentioned before. And really the getting started part is no cost and no obligation. It really is just to say, hey, let us know how this works for you, and if we can help you with your project and your needs. So I'm almost done here, and basically I'll be handing it off to Jim. ABM and Trino, again, we've been working together for 10 years. Jim and I have done a lot of work together, including Jim with the territory reps and such. We really appreciate Trino. We've been really happy with the responsiveness to our customers, and so it's been a long-term relationship. Again, as I mentioned earlier, we use Trino in-house. We practice what we preach, and so when you call us and you need information on a contract that was done, we're using Trino to find that information. We are truly a paperless office from the standpoint of all of our documentation. We scan, we bring it into Trino, and then it is shredded immediately, and we live in a true digital document workflow environment. So with that being said, it's time to introduce Jim Fox. He'll be taking over. He's got just a couple slides, and then we are going to go live with a quick demo of what Trino looks like online. So Jim, take it away, and thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bob, and I appreciate everyone's attention here. And a little bit about Trino. We were founded in 2002 when we're based out of Portsmouth, New Hampshire, so all of our development and engineering and support is based out of this location. The local support is provided through ABM, as Bob had mentioned. And what Trino provides is basically a secure central repository where you can store all of the county department documents. So we can basically set up a filing system that really basically mirrors your current method in terms of a folder structure. Inside that folder, we'll have what we refer to as tabs, or you might call them sections, that you can then further organize your documents. We do provide keyword search capability that Bob had mentioned is find a document in seconds. And we do have a global search capability as well. We can also search the contents of documents looking for a keyword. We have the ability to store any kind of electronic file, all the way from Office documents, PDF, JPEG, TIFF, to WAV files. Any electronic media we can store in Trino. And it's based on user access, permission. And so Trino, as we start the demo, you'll see is all about permission. And we can limit, people to looking at specific files. They can only perhaps look at specific folders that are part of a department. And we do provide auditing capabilities. As I mentioned, we do track everything that a user does the moment they log into to the system. And I'll show you that as we go through the demo. And again, it's a central secure repository. It does provide instant access to documents. You have to have a valid user ID in order to log into Trino. It is an easy and intuitive product to use. You do not need, as a matter of fact, from an admin perspective, have anybody from the IT staff get involved in terms of setting up Trino and you're using it. We do have integration with many applications, Tyler, PeopleSoft, GIS systems, ERP systems, and that allows you then one click to be able to get to the supporting documents, for instance, for a land parcel. We do have a built-in workflow, which allows you then to automate the process of documents going from one desk to another. And we do provide workflow tasks and can assign those tasks to people. And in terms of paper in your business, let me go back, excuse me. And in your world, and whether a township or a county or a state level, many different types of documents that are in many different types of folders. And many of these folders have security around them in terms of, HR documents, specifically I-9s, are not accessible to all users. So we have, have the ability to lock down folders and documents only to permissioned users. And in your world, you might have your county offices in many rooms in a building, if they're all in one building. But again, they're in different offices. And you may even have your county offices spread across different geographical locations. And what does that mean? Well, it means all the documents that support the county are throughout the different locations. It's administratively heavy to access and share those paper documents because they are in such disparate locations. It is costly to store, and they all take up space in terms of the cabinets. And it does put information at risk. There is no real security built around access to those documents, except perhaps a locked door or a locked cabinet. And it's challenging to manage those documents as they go through approval processes, for instance, or review. If it's paper, you don't know whose desk it's sitting on. And it is difficult to identify whose desk it is on. And with Trino and our workflow solutions, we can identify, where a person is in a workflow step. And paper is very complicated to audit with all a manual process. With Trino, again, the auditing process is electronic. We are tracking behind the scenes everything that a user does. And the kind of documents that you might have that are back office, obligations, permits and licenses, reports, requests for services, right to know capabilities are there. So all kinds of different documents are part of the county process. Now, manual routing and approval. With Trino, we no longer have a manual routing and approval process. As I had mentioned, we do have a workflow capability. It's able to track and identify where workflow processes are in particular steps, all right? Types of forms that we might be able to create. We do have an e-form capability. These would be forms that might be sitting out on the intranet or internet. And these might be forms, for instance, in the land use and property and zoning, might be blight documents, personal action, time off requests. And these are forms that can be filled out by the constituent, and then they can be submitted. And in Trino, then we can automatically create folders and also start workflows to notify people, for instance, that someone has filed a blight complaint, for instance. So again, just to wrap it up, Trino does provide a secure central repository, and only authorized users can have access. We can improve the access and efficiency to access those documents. We are a browser-based solution, and as long as you have a browser on your iPhone, it can be a smartphone, tablet, whatever device, you'd be able to access documents. And through the life cycle of a document, from the moment it was created to the moment it's to be retired, we protect those, and again, through a secure database, all right? Now, we can also improve physical storage in terms of reducing it, and so we can give you back that free space. I'm going to go into the demo now, and I'm looking at a Trino login screen. Let me get to the screen. And this is the Trino login screen. Again, it's a browser-based solution, so you don't need to have any software installed on your PC or smartphone or tablet, for that matter, to access documents. The two browsers that we support are going to be IE and Chrome. We do work with Firefox and Safari, but we just don't test them as regularly. Now, Trino does have two methods of implementation. One is to install it on your own server, or we have been offering a SaaS cloud-based offering since 2005. We do use a company called Rackspace as our back end for the cloud. They have multiple data centers around the country. Our primary one is in Virginia, and every 4 hours we're doing a data backup to another data center of theirs in the Chicago area. And I'm going to log in as a user, and the user ID in Trino is very important, and it's through the user ID that we do a couple of things. One, it's the trigger for starting the audit trail. So as soon as a person logs in, we're starting to track everything that they do. So we maintain a system-wide audit, which tracks every activity. We also maintain a file level history, and again, tracking by user ID, date, and time. So we can track when somebody, for instance, prints a document, or they email it, or they have downloaded it, or they've changed it. We are tracking all of that. And we also maintain workflow history, so that if a document goes through an approval process 3 years from now, compliance wants to know what was the, what happened to that document once it's entered into the county possession. You can track it by user ID, date, and time through the workflow history, all right? Second thing about the user ID, it's through that we determine what cabinets, folders, documents a user has permission to access. And then thirdly, what can they do with those documents? Can they email, print, copy, delete? And I'm going to log in, and I'm going to log in as, I'm going to say, the commissioner of the county. And the reason I say that is I have a view of many, many different types of cabinets across all of my departments. And based on user permission, for instance, if I were in the human resource department for a particular county department, when I logged in, the only cabinet I would see would be the human resource cabinet. I wouldn't know anything about these other cabinets based on user permission. But I'm the commissioner, and so I get to see all of the different cabinets. I get to see my AP, my AR, maybe my public works projects, my contracts, maybe some student files if I have access to that. Certainly human resources. One of our customers actually is the Legal Services of North Dakota, and they are an ABM Trino client and have been for about 3 years. But we can also be used to manage policies. We also can be used to manage the land use, or the management of the parcels. And what I want to do now is kind of click into a couple of these cabinets just to show you how intuitive they are in terms of being able to search for documents and even file documents. And the first one I want to start with is the AP. And our cabinet structure is built like this. We have a screen that has two parts. The top part of the screen that I'm circling right now, these are the folders that pertain to each of the an accounts payable invoice, all right? And then down below, the second part of the screen, it pertains to the files that are actually supporting this particular voucher, 456. So what we have a cabinet name, and then we have the indexes for a folder up top here. And you can have as many of these indexes as you need. They're all user-defined by you, and they're basically the instruments by which you can search. And so if I'm looking for voucher 510, I can quickly type in the voucher number. Trino takes me right away to the folder. Here it is. And then down below, these are all the supporting documents for that particular voucher. And I'm just hovering over these files, and you'll see a little thumbnail over on the right. And if that's the document that I want to look at, I can just click the row. Trino opens up and takes me directly to the document. We're looking at it in our virtual viewer, and then I can just scroll through the document. We'll come back to the virtual viewer. But again, it's that easy to search for a document. If I'm looking for a particular voucher in this case, I would click on the cabinet. I would provide the index value that I'm looking for. We quickly find the folder, and then down below are the files. And that's how quickly we can find it. Now, Trino also maintains a global search, and that's in the upper right-hand corner. And I'm going to type in a keyword. And Trino now goes across all the cabinets, folders, documents, files that I have permission to access looking for that keyword. And it can find that keyword in a couple of different places. It found it in a folder. It also found it in a file. All right, so we identify where we find it. And in this case, the keyword is part of the indexing information for the policy cabinet. So it's Patagonia Hospital. That's the entity. So that's the keyword. We can find the keyword in the file name right here. And most importantly, we can also find it in the contents of a document. And here's an example down below. It's not in the index information for the folder. It's not in the file name. But if I click on the row to open, Trino takes me directly to the file. You'll see it's highlighted and checked. And if I just hover over that document, I'll see, in fact, that keyword is in the contents. And that comes about because of OCR. And OCR in the Trino document management world occurs basically at two points. One is at the time of capture, so that as documents are scanned, we're making sure that they're going to be scanned as a searchable PDF, and then that metadata can be searched by Trino. And then secondly, Trino has its own OCR module that runs at night, and that'll pick up any documents like Word documents or Excel or PDFs that may have come in during the day, and then we're not part of a scanning process. And so as we go through those files at night, we're making the contents now available for global search. All right, I'm going to go back to the dashboard, and I'm going to click into another cabinet, and I'm going to click into my contracts cabinet. In the contract cabinet, again, we're managing different types of documents this time. We're not managing financial documents, but contracts. And in this example, this particular cabinet was set up for a large medical organization. They have 65 locations. And what they wanted to develop was a central contract cabinet to manage all of the contracts across all of the locations. And here you'll see a lot of different locations in this particular index. And if I were from the TNEC location and I were to log into this same cabinet, I would be limited by user permission to only looking at the TNEC contracts. All right. Although, if I clear the search, the cabinet contains all of the locations. All right. So again, based on user permission, we also have the ability to monitor dates. And in this case, it's a contract. It has a renewal date. So we can write a script that will notify people 30, 60, 90 days out, you choose, when you want to have an email notification sent to somebody, or in fact, we can even start a workflow task and assign it to that person for follow-up. All right. I'm going to click into another kind of cabinet, and I'm going to click into the human resource cabinet. In the human resource cabinet, again, we have a cabinet name, we have folders with indexes. These are just employee related at this point. And again, you can have any number of these indexes for searching capability. And I'm going to search for employee 845. Again, Trino quickly finds the file. I could have searched by any of these indexes. And then down below, this is where Trino now introduces the tab. And we have them right here. And basically look at these as sections within a manila folder that you might have. And the purpose of the tab is to help you logically organize documents by type. Application tab might contain the letters of reference, the resume, the application itself, and any other supporting documents surrounding the application process. A tab for benefit documents or communications, any contracts between the organization and the employee. We have a special tab for email, and we have this little widget which I can turn on and off, and I can place it anywhere on my desktop, and it allows me to drag and drop Outlook email into Trino. And I'm going to click on this tab, and you'll see that we are tracking by the, we're bringing over via the integration information from Outlook, like the to, from, subject, and date. And via the integration, then we're automatically populating these data fields. And these are searchable. So if I want to see any emails from Sally, I can type in the keyword. Trino goes through and does a filter. If there had been more than one, of course, that would have been listed here. And if this is the email I want, I can just click on it and it'll open. You'll see it's a .msg file type. It is an Outlook email. I can click it to open, and it opens outside of Trino in Outlook. It is the original Outlook email. If it had attachments, those also would be part of the email that was brought into Trino. Okay. Now, again, these are searchable. And again, via the integration, all of these data elements are populated automatically via the drag and drop. And we'll come back to that and show you how that works, okay? And we can have any number of these tabs. They're all user-defined by you. And again, based on user permission, I might be the director of training, have access to all the human resource folders, but the only tab I would see would be the training tab. I wouldn't know anything about these other tabs within the system. And again, based on user permission. That might also pertain to the I-9 specifically. There might only be one person in the HR department or two that would ever have access to the I-9 tab, for instance. Some companies, as a matter of fact, for additional security level, might even create a separate cabinet just to store the I-9s. But again, that's up to you and your choice. Now I'm going to go back to the dashboard, and I just want to click into some other cabinets that we've set up just to show you that the structure that we've kind of reviewed in the human resource cabinet can be leveraged into other departments and components of the county. So the first one I want to click into, let's do a public works. And this could be a highway repair. And again, using the same idea, we have a cabinet name, we have indexes. In this case, it's a project description, like road paving, or we're working on a bridge. The location of that particular project, maybe the map coordinate that it references. All right, and who is the owner of this particular project? And then if I click on the folder for that project, I can look down below, and again, we have the idea of the tab. And in this case, correspondence, engineering. You can have any number of these tabs. The naming convention is up to you because they're your documents. It's what you call them, all right? So again, this is the same kind of structure we use for HR. We're using it now for projects. Let's go back into an education file for managing students. Same idea. We've got a cabinet name. We have the indexes. They're all a little different this time because now we're working with student information. But again, the use of the tab. And again, just to help logically organize the documents. And again, these names are going to be different because we are managing different types of documents with students. Let's click into another cabinet. Let's click into the Legal Services of North Dakota. This is not a live, this was built out by me for a demo prior to their becoming a Trino customer. But again, the idea is that we have a cabinet name, indexes, and then I have tabs down below again. So again, the same structure is repeated over and over again and helps leverage, setting up Trino very quickly for people, all right? And I'm gonna click into one more tab, and let's just go into land use. And in this case, cabinet name again, indexes that pertain to parcels. So I have a parcel number, the block lot, the street number, and so on. And then down below would be all of the documents relating for that particular parcel. It could be the building records. And here's an example of where we, within a tab, I can logically organize documents. So if I do an add document here, you'll see that I'm adding another document, but I have a drop down. these are all the different types of documents that are considered building records, okay? And so if I want to create a new one, I would just do a building architecture. I'd give it a description. I can give it more detail. I can give it a start date. I can then insert this particular new section, and here it is. And then I could just upload and go grab a file. And I can go find that file. It's right here. This is the one I want to bring in. Trino uploads the file quickly, and I'm done. All right, so I'm going to go back to the dashboard, and again, Trino can be used across multiple departments, and even within a department, sub-departments, for instance. All right, so it's very, very flexible in terms of being horizontal, and also it can be a fairly vertical product as well. Now, before I'm going to move on, and what I want to talk about now are the different ways that we can get documents into Trino. And typically, the documents start, I have a couple of ways. I'm going to, let's go to my human resources. And I'm going to search for my employee, 845 again. And in this case, I'm on the absent report tab, and I have a document I want to bring in. And again, you've seen this earlier, it's the upload button. So I am at the location within Trino. I now want to go find the file I want to bring in. So I can just click the upload button. It allows me now to go out and browse anywhere that I have network access. Here's the document I want, or documents. I can bring in more than one. Trino quickly uploads them, and at this point, I've uploaded 2 files into Trino. It's now being stored in the cloud. All right, so again, the upload button's one way. The Trino importer is another, and this is a little widget that I can turn on and off. And you do not need to be logged into Trino in order to use the widget. In other words, you don't have to be in the Trino GUI to bring documents or file them or upload them. And the way that works, I'm going to show you with an email. And here's an email that pertains to employee Jim Fox, and I can just drag it to the importer. The importer verifies who I am, what cabinets do I have permission to access, and comes back with this screen that prompted me where do I want to put the file. And in this case, I did have a lot of different cabinets I had permission to access, but again, if I were in human resources, that would be the only cabinet I would see. I probably wouldn't even have a drop down. I now need to search for the file or folder I want to put it in. I'm going to search by name. And Trino finds my folder. Here it is. And the reason it found it, it did a search by contains. All right, so this field contained the word Fox. Here's the document. Here's the folder I want. And I need to select the tab I want to put it into. And here are the tabs. It's an email. That's the integration where we bring back the to, from, subject, and date. I can just add the email and then check it in. Now, the value of this is that now email correspondence between the county department and constituents can now be brought into the county record, if you will, and is now part of that record. It's not in somebody's personal inbox anymore, but it's out there for the all people who have permission to access. Let's take the case now of I have a document. I don't care about the email contents. All I care about is the attachment. And let's say that this is a supporting document for financial voucher 510. I can just drag it out of the email, again, to the importer. It verifies who I am. In this case, I'm going to switch cabinets because it's an AP cabinet, or it's referring to a voucher. Again, I'm going to search for my voucher. And again, it's voucher 510. Trino quickly finds that folder. There are no tabs, all right? So I'm just going to do a quick check-in, and I'm done. And I can bring in more than one file at the same time if they all relate to the same transaction. I can also bring documents in from anywhere that I have network access. So I can just bring this picture in. Again, it's going to prompt, where do I want to put it? I can select the cabinet, all right, and then also the tab if need be. So again, the Trino importer, just a quick little utility that can be used to help drag and drop email, and you don't need to be logged into Trino in order to access it. We do have another way of getting email into Trino, and a lot of organizations, specifically financial organizations, like this method a little bit better. And again, I have an email, and we have a Trino add-in. And I can just do a Trino check-in right from Outlook. Again, it verifies who I am, what do I have access to. And again, I'm going to say it's an email for Jim Fox, Human Resources. I'm going to search for his folder. And again, I'm going to search for it by employee number this time. Trino finds the folder. Again, I'm going to select the tab I want to put it in. It's an email. That's the integration again. I can add it and then check it in. Now, what I like about this integration, and I think a lot of organizations do as well, is that we do actually upgrade or update Outlook and indicate that Trino, that this document was in fact brought into Trino. And now you can safely delete it via this visual confirmation, okay? So another way we get documents into Trino is on a day-to-day basis is paper. And every user in Trino has an inbox. And the inbox is the destination for all of the scanned paper coming from your MFPs or scanning devices. And when the documents are scanned and created into searchable PDFs, they're now then moved into Trino, and they're sitting in this inbox waiting to be filed, all right? And with the inbox, based on user permission, I can link over to other people's inboxes if needed. If they happen to be out ill, they have documents that need to be filed based on my permission, I can link over to that inbox. I also, based on permission, can move a document that may have been scanned into my inbox, but it's not really my document to file. I can then move it over to the appropriate inbox for proper filing by the proper person. So the way we file in Trino, very quick. I select my document or documents, and again, we're going to say this pertains to financial voucher, to supporting documents for financial voucher 510. I'm going to select my cabinet, and again, I have a lot of cabinets to select from. I'm going to do AP. I need to show the search because I want to find the folder I want to put it in. I'm going to search for voucher 510 again. Here it is, and then I can just file the document away. Let's take the case of filing to a tab, and let's say that this is a communication document from employee Jim Fox. So I've scanned it. It was paper. It's now sitting in the Trino inbox, ready to be filed. I again select what cabinet. It's Human Resources. Again, I'm going to search for my employee. I'm going to do it by name. And again, I had mentioned earlier, these are all the Boolean operators that we have for searching. And by default, we do it contains, and that's why it found that folder. So it found the folder, and then here are the tabs. And I can just kind of scroll through looking for the tab I want to file it in. I said communications. I select the tab, and then I file the document away. Now let's take the case of how do we add a new folder. And again, this is based on user permission. Here's a document. Let's say that this is an employee application, okay? And I want to create a new employee folder, and I'm going to add a new folder right here, and this is based on user permission. If they didn't have the permission, they wouldn't see that icon. So I'm going to add a folder, and I'm going to add an employee number. Now notice this is a particular interesting, within the indexing of a folder or any of the indexing in Trino, I can have edit masking so that I can enforce rules in terms of how that data is to be entered. And in this case, I entered 3 alpha characters, and notice now I'm getting an error because the rule is that the employee number must be numeric. So if I type in a numeric now, Trino accepts it. We have drop downs that can be used to help enforce index values so that they're consistent. We also have date functionality here so that I can select the date, and then I would insert this new folder. And I'm going to clear the search to show you that folder. Here it is. And notice there are no tabs here. Trino does not automatically add the tab to a folder. We can via an option, but by default we don't. And that's to reduce clutter. And I have the ability to add tabs on the fly. Now, what's good about this is that these tabs are administratively defined by the administrators, and that the end user then, these are the tabs that they have to select from. They cannot add their own, so you're not going to have this mishmash of filing conventions. So in this case, we said that this was a I'll say it's a communication document. Then there are no tabs. I'm going to create one on the fly. Here it is, and then I can just file the document away. Okay. So again, the inbox is a very quick, easy way to get documents filed to the appropriate spot. You can add folders on the fly. You saw me add a tab on the fly as well. So all of this is very dynamic and very easy and quick to use. Now, with the inbox, what makes the inbox work is that Trino has a software utility that we refer to as the file monitor. It's basically a scan directory, but we have some special software that's monitoring it. And one of the capabilities of that software is to recognize barcodes. And I'm going to go back to my HR cabinet. And notice we have barcodes to the left of these folders. And the way we create these is if it's a brand new setup, for instance, with Trino, and we're doing the HR department as an example, for instance, what you'd be able to provide us would be an Excel spreadsheet, and it would have one row per employee, and each column then represents an index in Trino. We can read that Excel spreadsheet. We automatically can create the folder in Trino. There are no documents in the folder. There are no tabs. But what we've been able to do is create a unique barcode. Now Trino, and again, I'm going to search for employee 845. So Trino supports barcodes at two different levels. We have it at the folder level, and these are unique barcodes at this point. And then we have tabs or barcodes down at the tab level. And so what we're trying to do now is maybe do a back file. We have all of this paper documents related to the employee. I want to scan them and get them out of my cabinet. How do I do that? Easily. And the mechanism for the barcodes is what Trino developed to help you do this by on your own. The other alternative basically is to work with ABM and have some of this outsourced to a scanning agency. They then would basically scan all your documents, return them on a hard drive in electronic format, and then we would just basically write a script to import them automatically to the appropriate client folder or employee folder and also the tab. All right, but this is what it looks like. Basically, you're going to be building a stack of paper. The first barcode in the stack is the unique barcode, relating to the employee folder. So this barcode right here is in fact this barcode right here. All right. So for Trino, it's identifying where all of the paper following this barcode is to go. Then I might have another barcode, and this is a tab level barcode. So this barcode right here represents maybe the communication tab. All right, so each one of these has their own kind of unique barcode for being a tab. In this particular paper, it might be on a yellow sheet of paper as well. And then behind that would be the paper documents from your paper file that relate to correspondence. And then I might have another barcode sheet that represents benefits. This could be on a blue sheet of paper. And then behind that are the paper files from your existing paper folder. And so you can take this big stack of paper to a scanner, and it scans in. Trino recognizes where to send it. It's going to a specific employee folder. It reads another barcode. It knows what tab to send it to. If the tab doesn't exist, it's going to create it automatically or add to the tab. It then scans these documents. They're searchable PDFs and then moved into this new tab. And then it does the same with this one. At the end of the scan, people discard the folder level, save these because they're going to be reused on another employee file scan. All right, and so the purpose of this, the barcodes then is to make your job very easy in terms of helping to get back file into Trino. And we also support barcodes to direct documents to a user's inbox as well. All right. So again, in terms of how we get documents uploaded, we have the upload button in specific areas. Right, I'm going to go here, communications. We have the upload button. Well, here. I have an, where is it? Communications. So we have the upload button that you've seen a couple of times in terms of being able to get documents into Trino, and right here. And then we have this the Trino importer for Outlook email, and also the attachments, and also the regular documents on the that might be on your network share. We have the ability through the inbox again to file documents that have been scanned and move them into folders. And then we have the ability to use barcodes as well. We have other techniques to get documents into Trino. One is the use of e-forms, where you can create fillable PDFs, like a blight, for instance. And what that does is the constituent would fill out the blight form, and they would hit submit in the form, and then Trino would automatically create, for instance, a blight folder in the blight cabinet, and then would automatically trigger a workflow to notify somebody within the planning and zoning that there was a particular issue on someone's parcel. Okay. Well, at this point, I've done what I had set out to do. I wanted to show you basically the overall structure of Trino. We find it to be a very easy and intuitive product. We have the idea of the cabinets, and based on user permission, again, we can limit people to what cabinets they can view. We can also limit them to what folders they can view and also what documents they can view. We do have a very flexible folder structure in terms of setting up the cabinets and folders in terms of logically organizing your documents. And again, if I search for my employee Fox, you'll see again we have this ability of the tabs. And again, that's very flexible in terms of naming convention and how many you can have and what you can do with them. And we also talked about the different ways to get documents into Trino, and also the different ways that we can search. Search using the folder indexes. We have the global search to go across all the documents, including the contents. All right. Well, that completes my presentation. We do have other modules that we can talk about in depth if you're interested. We do have a workflow module, and also I had mentioned we have e-forms. One of our strengths is the ability also to integrate to other line of business applications. It could be Tyler applications. It could be PeopleSoft. We link into GIS systems. So in the GIS system, let's talk about that real quick. So someone could be on a parcel looking at the map on their GIS system and then click a tab or a button, and it would take someone directly to their land use folder. All right. And so this was all the information that would be presented via the integration to GIS. Now, we would welcome any questions that you have. Please type them in at in the screen. And we also would love to get back to you. If you have interest or more additional questions, please contact ABM, and we'd be happy to follow up and schedule a discovery call just to learn more about how your organization is managed and what kind of documents you're dealing with, and then certainly be able to set up a custom demo that mirrors your environment. With that, we thank you very much for your time, and this webinar has been recorded, and you will be provided a link back to the webinar for future review if you need. Again, ABM and Trino, thank you for your time, and we hope to speak to you soon. Thank you.
Again, Bob Stromberg with ABM. We want to thank everybody for being a part. We hope you got something out of it. If you do need anything, feel free to let us know. You can contact us through our website, abmnow.com, or you can give us a call through any of our numbers. We thank you very much. If there's anything else we can do, please give us a call. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.